Welcome to Hamilton County Newsmakers. I'm Perry Williams, and today I have my monthly guest from the Westfield Chamber, Jack Russell, president of Westfield Chamber. Welcome, Jack.
Hey, thanks. I'm excited.
Well, I'll have to say last week, I guess it was it last week? You had your chamber luncheon. What a great idea having it out at IMMI in that conference center out there, man.
It's beautiful.
That's a fantastic place to have an event.
Oh, absolutely. And it was unique, and that's the biggest thing that we've tried to push this year is how do we become innovative and unique on the experience that our members have. And so that was a perfect example of how we're trying to do that.
Well, Jack, let's talk a little bit about that meeting because it was for our nonprofits, our 501c3s, and many times when they do those type of things, they get a little nervous on, will people really come out and visit and go around and check all the displays and all the vendors. But it was a sellout, right?
Oh, absolutely. We had a little over 150 people with 25 nonprofits. The hardest part was getting people to come and sit down because they wanted to interact. They wanted to meet with nonprofits. And that's something that we found out in our 2016 survey at the end of the year was what are some things that you want to connect with, or who are the people you want to connect with. And it really was, as a business community, how do we give back time or money to our local nonprofits? And when I meet with nonprofits, they say, hey, we need time and money. So how do we connect that? And that's our job at the Chamber. So it's been really unique that was such a unique experience and such an awesome experience to see people get up afterwards and not leave. And they wanted to stay, they wanted to talk, and that was pretty neat.
And of course you were very, very fortunate to have Terry Anchor, who is the Legacy Fund outgoing president, I guess. He's done a great job there, and he emceed that program, and you had four or five different groups speak.
Yeah, we had I think we had maybe even up to 9 groups.
That's
speak.
Right, 9. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And what we did was we wanted a Westfield, but also there's really no border with nonprofits. Hamilton County as a whole is what we tried to go for, and those nonprofits know Terry, and of course a lot of people know Terry, but that's what we wanted. We wanted an MC that really was passionate about it, and you could tell not only for the last 5 years, but while he was there, his passion for what he does and what the Legacy Fund does, and their connection with nonprofits. So it was just a perfect fit, and they were our sponsor along with IMMI.
And it was great, when you first started off there with the Youth Assistance Program, which started in Westfield and has expanded and helped the Legacy Foundation help support that group.
Absolutely.
And that group has grown tremendously to help our youth in Hamilton County.
Yeah, and that was the ultimate goal was to create opportunities like that for other nonprofits. The 25 that were there, the nonprofits that were there, said, hey, thank you so much. This is the first time anybody's done this. This is the first time that we've been able to stand up or sit there and tell everybody who we are and what we do. Sometimes I think there's a misconception of what Hamilton County is. We do have people that need things. We have needs in our community, and we have such a strong business community no matter where you are that want to give back, and that connection is perfect.
I think one of the big things that it brought out to us as guests sitting in the venue there was how many of these 501c3 nonprofit groups work together and help each other.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was brought out tremendously in all 9 speeches.
Oh, yeah. And power in numbers, especially when you're a 501c3. We're a non-for-profit. You know that you have a budget and you have to stick to it, and you always lean on other nonprofits to maybe instead of having to do all the workload, maybe there's a nonprofit that could help you do that. Like I said, I think it's interesting to see the ins and outs of a nonprofit. And I think those guests that were there saw the amount of time, the amount of effort, and the amount of volunteers you need to get from point A to point B, and that's huge.
Jack, let's talk a little bit about some things coming up. last month, I guess it was, you did Drive Your Business, okay?
Yes, yeah.
I thought it was a fantastic idea, and you and Kurt Weitzel did it, and it was really, really a great opportunity for you to go out and share some of the businesses in Westfield. You got one coming up here, and I know that's going to be a blast with your impact people. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Drive Your Business started when I was sitting at home and we were watching the James Corbin Carpool Karaoke, and I told my fiance, I said, I think we could do that at the chamber. We could call it Drive Your Business. It turned into an idea. My board is always so open to new ideas. They're so open to saying, take the keys and drive, both figuratively and literally. But this Drive Your Business is just a one-on-one conversation with a local business owner and how do you get involved. And that video that Kurt and I did was shared over 50 times and has reached over 18,000 people on Facebook. I can tell you that the Student Impact is who we will be hosting on Thursday when I post the video. We did so much more. We did a dodgeball. There was some. We went to Tice Bakery again. That was kind of fun. And then we actually sang a song at the end of it, kind of like carpool karaoke. But it's a unique way for people to know who you are as a person rather than a business. Student Impact does, instead of saying Student Impact does X, well, having a real life person in the car and talking to them about their passion for that only drives that. And I can tell you that their goal when they helped me design this one was we have to beat Kurt. We have to do more than 18,000 reaches. And again, for a chamber that's really not huge, we're about the same size as Noblesville, to get 18,000 reaches, you have to be unique in the way that you promote businesses. Even Terry, I know that Terry Rake, who owns Titus Bakery, she called afterwards because Kurt said on the video, hey, Titus Bakery, you need your logo on your cup. And so Terry said, oh, I'm trying, I think I'm going to buy some of those and things like that. So it's been embraced so much that I almost have a waiting list of people that want to do this, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, and it's funny too.
We try to keep it. It's not very serious. We want it to be fun.
And that and you need that. You need that.
Yeah.
So this month, Chamber Coffee.
Yes. So
this is kind of interesting. Some of the things leading up to.
Yeah. So we so February was kind of share the love nonprofits. We did for our last one. We did do best businesses, the 2016 best places to work in Indiana. So we had that. This month is really important to me. This month in March is going to be public safety. That's going to be our public safety month. It's a really important thing to me, not only because most of my family serves in public safety, but I think that as Westfield grows, we need to know who the leaders are and what our public safety are doing as Westfield continues to grow. So March 14th is with Mark Bowen. He'll be talking about the Sheriff's Department, and then our first ever State of Public Safety will be our luncheon in March at the Palomino Ballroom. We're going to have Chief Reed, and then we're going to have Sergeant Charles from the Westfield Police Department. They're going to come and talk about how they manage the growth of Westfield and how businesses can connect with them if they need anything. So again, still having that connecting factor, but such a big part of Hamilton County in general that's grown. I mean, we've all seen it grow substantially, and so how are our public safety officials managing that growth? Because I know we always say, how's the city managing growth, or schools, but public safety has to manage that as well. So
yeah, because that's been quite an undertaking. When you take areas like the explosion that's happened at Fishers and in Westfield, Carmel has grown tremendously, but it's been a gradual climb quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but Westfield, Fishers just exploded. I mean, that's all you can say.
Right.
And so I don't think people realize that, sometimes you have like in the Fishers area, I'm not familiar with your chief over Westfield, but, you're sitting there with 3 or 4 police officers when he started, and now,
Yeah.
And the same things have grown, and the growing of Westfield too. So
yeah, I mean, going through pictures when my grandfather passed away, my grandfather was at the Carmel Police Department, and you can fit everybody that was in the Carmel Police Department back when he was there on a 4x6, and I'm pretty sure now it's an 8x10.
Well, it may be bigger.
It may be bigger, and so that was kind of unique to see that and be able to go through all those pictures and photos, and that was a big thing, and so that's why this month means so much to me, because I do think that we do need to acknowledge those that serve us each and every day, because living with one, having a father, the most humble person, most, if not all, public safety officials are the most humble people that say, they go out and save lives every day, and when you thank them, they say, just doing my job.
That's right.
That's my job. And so that's a unique thing that our chamber wanted to do this month, is acknowledge those people that work day in and day out, 12 hours plus a day to serve our community. So that's a big part of what we do.
Jack, I see I got an email from your new, what's the title on her, marketing?
Events coordinator.
Events coordinator.
Yeah, so we were very fortunate last year to have a great year. We added 72 new businesses. I can tell you that we are pretty close to doing 10 each month. So we had 10 in January, we'll have 10 in February. New businesses. So already 20 new businesses to start the year. And so what we needed was, we wanted to make our events even better than what they were. Having Deb do both jobs, God love her and I love her. But we wanted to add somebody that could really take that and run with it, because Deb has done such a great job with it. And now when we added Missy, Missy's in training, and we're doing that right now. But because our events are a little different than most, we want to be innovative. We want to add technology. We want to go 110% at a lot of what we do. And she's been a great fit, and we're excited to see that, as the golf outing is in June, and then September with the Lantern Award.
And I got an email today that had the list of the ribbon cuttings that you have coming up in, over the next couple of weeks, was it? I didn't look at the time frame, but there was...
In March, most of it's March, and of course we have probably another 3 or 4 that are TBD, but since I started back in May, we averaged probably 5 or 6 ribbon cuttings a month. And that's been, and again, March is no exception. We'll have 3 that we already have planned, and I'm sure we'll add another 3 or 4. But again, as Westfield's growing, everybody wants to be involved in it. Or people, a big part of what we wanted to do this year was business retention and expansion. We have 3 businesses that have outgrown their space, and they're growing. Grand Junction Brewery now has their other new location, the 9,000 square feet. You have Urban Farmer added now what's called Urban Vines, so they now opened up a winery. And then My Father's Garden, that was downtown, ran out of space, and now they've actually bought a building downtown, and they're expanding as well. So it's our job as a chamber to partner with the city to make sure that these businesses that are growing, that we're there every step of the way and acknowledging their successes.
Yeah. And the one thing, and I want to talk about this because I know you take a little bit different approach than many people do on this topic, but ribbon cutting to you is not just a dog and pony, because you've already, it's not like, hey, you have Deb call and say, when you're getting ready to open, when can we set up for a ribbon cutting? You've already when a new business comes to town, once you know that from the city, you're already contacting them.
Oh yeah, our process for a ribbon cutting is because of what Deb does and what Missy does. My job is to be the salesperson and be the community outreach and be the account manager and wear those different hats. And I'm always out, and I'm always at the ground floor, because as soon as a new member comes in, there's a process. They get welcomed in. We schedule the ribbon cutting, and then really for the ribbon cutting, we have a whole social media platform to make sure we get the most exposure. Jack's Donuts is a good example. We did a Facebook Live video. We did photos. And we did it on all social media aspects: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They got over 9,000 reaches off of one post, and the other post had 12,000 reaches. You can't tell me that for Jack's Donuts to open up to reach 20,000 people does not affect their business. for free. And in being a member of our chamber, they get that as a ribbon cutting. And that's the best way I think that we can welcome a new business to the community, is getting them the most exposure that they can. And for Jack's Donuts to get 20,000 reaches on Facebook through our Facebook page completely changes how they do business. At least for the first couple weeks. Of course, we can't continue to promote, but Board and Brush is a good example. When they opened up right there on the corner of of Union and 32, we had 15,000 reaches on that. And for the first couple weeks, that's who was coming in the door. Hey, we saw you on Facebook. We saw you on Facebook. So that's something that we provide free for our members, and it really does more than anything. We could do an ad in a newspaper or do an ad on things like that, but people want things now and they want it instant. And part of the reason why we do this is we want to get out the word and out the message of what we're doing. So.
Well, Jack, I appreciate it. Anything else coming up here in March?
Oh, my goodness. We have our business after hours March 23rd at Wolfie's. But other than that, we are keeping busy. We're adding more and more members each and every day, and we are at about 400 and continue to grow. There's no end in sight, so we're excited.
Well, Jack, I appreciate you coming by on your monthly visit here, and we're very blessed to have you as a partner from Westfield Chamber, and hopefully we can make a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.